Hello, here we are again to go through one more book of the Bible. And today we'll talk about Esther and her story, which is practically the last one in the Old Testament. It happened around the year 450 before Christ, when Esther, a Jewish woman, became Queen of Persia, and her position was actually extremely important for the nation of Israel in a specific moment of their history, because she was used by God to stop the entire Jewish people from being destroyed by Haman, a man who didn't like the people of God. Now, this deliverance of the Jewish nation was extremely important because, as you probably remember, Jesus, the Savior of the world, had been promised a long time before to the Jewish people and descending from the lineage of Abraham. So the nation of Israel had to keep existing so the Savior, Jesus, would come to the world as it had been predicted. And about 4 centuries after this story, Jesus finally comes to earth. An interesting fact about this book is that the name of God is not even once mentioned in it. And because of it, for a while, some people actually questioned if this book should actually be part of the Bible since God's name is not mentioned. But you can clearly see him between the lines in the circumstances that happened throughout the book of Esther. The fact that Esther was chosen as Queen of Persia, the fact that Mordecai has helped the king before the main story and had never been awarded for that, the fact that the king couldn't sleep exactly one day before the mass killing of the Jewish people, and Mordecai's story was the story chosen for him on that night. I mean, all the details, circumstances, situations that couldn't have been possible, couldn't have happened so precisely if it wasn't for God. And on many occasions, we don't actually see the presence of God in a very clear way, or he doesn't act in an obvious way as we would expect him to. But even if it's not clear or in a visible way, just like in the book of Esther, his presence and actions are perceptible and extremely precise with details and plans behind the curtains. God is perfect, and he is working in our lives even when we don't realize it yet. One of the main celebrations for the Jewish people is the Feast of Purim, and it started with the events narrated in the book of Esther. Purim means lots in ancient Persian. The holiday received this name because Haman had thrown lots to determine when he would carry out his diabolical scheme. So the book of Esther is read every day during the Feast of Purim, and the people cheer every time they hear the names of Esther and Mordecai. But the opposite happens with Haman, and he is booed every time his name is mentioned. It's interesting to look at the story and see how God acts. There was a date set up for the destruction of the people of God, but that date became a date to celebrate one of its greatest victories. The man who planned on killing the Jewish people and even built a huge gallows specifically for Mordecai was killed in it. Even when there's no hope, God can change our stories. He is the light at the end of the tunnel. There's no fate that is stronger than him. There's nothing he can't change. He makes all things new and better. He did it and used Esther, so he can do it again in your life. Let's highlight chapter 4, verse 14. And here we read that even if Esther had kept quiet, God would still find a way to save his people. But that was why she had been put into that position in the first place. God has a purpose for each one of us, and he took care of every detail. Where we are, who we are, it's all for his glory. It's all part of his plan. This past couple of years have been difficult, but God even chose the country we'd be born at. He chose our countries, our times in history, our families, everything with a purpose. God has never made a mistake, but as humans, we do. So He has chosen the perfect time, family, country, people around us, no matter how difficult they may be, because He has a purpose. So wherever we are, we can try to look at it as our purpose for the moment. The people we live with are part of our purpose. Your presence wherever you are is not by chance. You are His hands and feet. He wants to make the difference through your life. So good thing you can already identify the things that should be different, but don't forget to also ask God, what is your role in the change He wants to make? Now, if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps us spread the message to more people. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please do it, because we are here every week to talk about a new book of the Bible. So hopefully I'll see you next week. God bless you. Bye.